LeetCode Problem number 678, valid parenthesis string. So this problem gives us a string, right, containing three types of character: open parentheses, close parentheses, and a wildcard. And we have to return true if the parentheses inside of string s is valid, meaning that all open parentheses are closed, and we can use the wildcard to substitute any of the open or closed, or it could even be a empty string, right? So that's basically it. So this is my approach. I first have two stacks. So the first stack is to track the open parentheses, and the second stack is to track the stars, right? So how many stars I have. But on top of using a stack, I will be storing their position as indexes. So here I have a for loop that iterates through the string. So let's say my string is, for example, I'll use this as an example. Okay, I'll use this as an example, and I, in this case, would be 0, starting from the first character. Okay, starting from the first character. So since this character is a open parenthesis, I will just immediately push in the index, which is 0. So that's 0 first. So once that is done, everything else is ignored, and we increment I to 1. Since now this is a star, so again I'll push in index into a star 1. We move the index to a closing parenthesis now. Right, since this is a closing parenthesis, I first check whether or not the open parenthesis is empty. Since it's not empty, there was a previous parenthesis, open parenthesis in front of it, I will just pop it, right? So I'll remove this. But if it's empty right now, it's empty. So what I could do is use the star, is check the star whether or not star is empty. If it's not empty, I would use the star to substitute it into a open parenthesis, right? And pop it from there instead. If none of the stacks, if all of the stacks are empty, I'll just return false, right? Which means that I can't, this parenthesis is wrong. That means it will look something like this, right? Which in this case I can't, it's not a valid parenthesis. But since we have one in open, I'll just pop it here and move to the next index, which is 3. Right, so we are at this closing parenthesis once again. So here, what I do, again, I check open. Since open is empty, right, nothing is open, I check my star. Since star is not empty, I will just pop it, and now both of them are empty. But I finished the for loop, and now my I reached 4. And this while loop will not run because open is currently empty. Basically it won't run. And then I just return whether or not open is empty or not. So this means if I have something like this, open would still be, let's say, 5, right? Or more like 4. Open is not empty, then it just return. Okay, so let me show you another example. So let's say this were to be flipped to look something like this. So again, I start from 0. It's an open parenthesis, so I'll just open it. Make it a bit more complex. Let's add another star here, I guess. Yep, okay, so open, so 0. Right, next one, open again, so we have 1. Next one, 2. Another open, so we push in 2. Right, next one 3, we get the first star. Right, so star, push again, and then we reach our first closing parenthesis. Right, so when this closes, it hits this else statement, else if statement. So we check whether or not the open is empty first. Right, we don't check whether or not we hit a star, because this star technically can be represented as a empty string. So since we have opens, so we just pop one and move along. So we have another star, so this star will be pushed into the queue, the stack, sorry. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should be 5 instead. Should be above. Okay, now if you look over here, this while loop, since open is still is not empty, right? There is some unresolved open parentheses, and we have some unresolved stars that we could use as well, right? So when this happens, did I do it correctly? 0, 1, 2, 3. This should be here. Yep, this should be here. Alright, so when this happens, I first check whether or not the stars is empty, since we have open parentheses, right? And if we have leftover stars, in this case, if we do not have any leftover stars or wildcards, we will just return false, right? Or if the star's position, in this case star's position, is smaller than our open's position, right? Meaning if the star were to be positioned in front of the open parentheses. In this case, this star will be useless. It will be interpreted as a empty string only, because this cannot resolve the open parentheses behind it, right? So that's why we have to check whether or not the position of the star is in front, or more like is behind of the open parentheses. That's why we use a stack to keep track of the position of each characters. Now since the star position is greater than the top of the opens position, we pop both of them up. Okay, again over here, since the star's position is greater than the open position, so we pop both of them up again. Since now open is empty, this while loop will end and return true in this case, because open is empty, right? If there okay, so yep, that's it. That's my approach to this problem. That's all I have to show. Thanks.